everyone thinks that they know what a car brand truly does. I mean, produce cars, sell cars, market them, and repeat. But what if somebody reimagines the way we look at our cars, how we move, how we connect, how we take our cars on the road and go alive? And I think it's imperative we find out from the CXOs, the head honchos on Mashable Mornings, what that truly means. Welcome back to another episode of Mashable Mornings, where we talk to two really cool folks over at Geely, which has built this amazing showroom on Sheikh Zayed Road, about what they're doing with the new Monjaro, what do they plan to do with hybrid vehicles, EVs, what these two people actually think and talk like. Let's go and talk to Dr. Andreas Schaaf and Mr. Woodstock Liu to understand what Geely in this region, the UAE, and with this beautiful showroom on Sheikh Zayed is all set to do. Hey folks, good afternoon.
Hey.
How's it going?
All
nice
good,
to see you.
good. How are you?
Hi Andreas.
All
Hi
good?
Mr. Woodstock. I've heard they call you Woody.
Woody.
Woody, super.
Easy.
like Toy Story. Yeah. Yes. I'm like Sid from the other Pixar film. Okay. But how's it going? What have I bothered you in the middle of?
No, it's fine. You know, you don't bother us at all. You know, I'm always grateful for a nice break in between.
Oh, awesome. Let's go around.
Yeah,
Firstly, congratulations for this beautiful new office.
Yeah, it is a milestone. Definitely. You know, we are proud of having the headquarters now here.
Superb. Let's go.
Yes.
I've never seen folks who are watching, and if you've not seen the Sheikh Zayed Geely showroom, you should know that once you visit, you'll realize this is the same place where they have their office. So the corporate folks working out here. When we walk down, you'll see the service floor, and then the showroom.
Yeah. It's actually one of the largest service facilities of Geely in the country.
That's so
really,
cool.
we're almost 50 work bays now. We do everything in service. We do maintenance. We do also the whole body work here. So this is really a very large facility here.
Yeah.
And it's actually very unique because you don't have a lot of places on Sheikh Zayed Road where you have service and sales and everything integrated in one spot. So
Also, it's one of the largest facility for Geely International in the world.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Congratulations to the both of you on that and the whole team. If you're from Geely or if you own a Geely, please let us know in the comments. I particularly am liking the new Monjaro. But we'll talk about the cars.
We talk about it.
I want to understand from the both of you your love for cars. You've been decades into the business. What makes you get up and still do this every day?
Thank you for mentioning the age. You know, decades in the business. No, I really love this industry. I've been there for too long. You know, actually from the beginning.
That's so cool.
I started right after my university. I finished university. I started in the car business. And I always had great experience in car business. I love car industry. It's one of the best industry to work for.
That's so true.
It's so passionate. You never find people that are unpassionate in car industry.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
could never work for other industries. Like, I don't know, I don't want to quote them, you know, because there are so many boring industries. You know, at least they are boring for me. But car business is just amazing. And wherever you go, people instantly they start talking about, you know, their love for vehicles, for brands. They fight with you. It's a perfect industry.
Let's head to the Geely Monjaro now and
that's
talk
right.
about the rest of the things inside that.
Yes,
Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
Dr. Andreas, welcome to Mashable Mornings.
Thank
and
you very much.
Mr. Woodstock, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Why don't you tell us the amazing titles you all hold for the audiences so that they know that the decades of experience comes and puts you where you are at?
Okay, let me start first. So thank you very much first, you know, for the invitation and the opportunity to participate. And I'm the CEO of the Geely Group brands, Andreas, Schaaf. So I'm also a director of Albata Automotive.
That's true.
And in this function, you know, I oversee the automotive activities also of the group.
That's beautiful. I mean, a huge shout out to Li Shifu sir for building this amazing brand. From refrigeration to where you all have come, I think it's beautiful to being top 3 in the region now.
Yeah.
So Mr. Woodstock, why don't you tell us your introduction?
Thank you for having us. My name is Woody. I take care of the regional market in the GCC, including UAE and Qatar and Bahrain and the other GCC market.
Oh, that's
And
a huge
I'm the
portfolio,
regional
sir.
sales manager
Love it.
for Geely Middle East.
But tell me, why do you think the Middle East or this big, huge showroom that you have over here, this experience center, is a great launch pad for the region?
No, I mean, let me maybe just to come to the Middle East. So, I mean, this is just for me one of the most amazing car markets I've worked in, and I've worked in many markets. I've worked in China and South Korea, in India for a long time, in European markets, worked for American companies. So this is really an amazing region when it comes to cars. I've seldom in my life, I've seen so many passion and love for vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, the infrastructure of the Middle East, it's just amazing. I mean, if you drive around here in Al Quoz, the infrastructure of vehicles and cars is just mind-blowing. So wherever you go, you have people that are immediately, instantly fall in love with it.
That's true.
And that's why it's such a fun to work in this industry here in the Middle East. And there's so much of passion for vehicles in the Middle East. It's very, very rare. You don't
That's
find
true.
many regions in the world that are similar to the Middle East.
Very passionate about cars for sure. What about you, sir?
Actually, I think from between countries, especially for the GCC countries and China, we have a very long-lasting the government partnership, so which can be a backbone and guarantee for Geely and all the Chinese brand growth in the Middle East. That's very important from the long-term and sustainable level. And on the other hand, I think, especially for the UAE, Geely UAE with relatively young brands for Geely to launch in this country. But back to Saudi and other GCC market, we are top ranking Chinese brands. So we are hoping move and transit the same message to the local market here in the UAE.
I think it'll be right to quote the Alex report, which says that 34% of the region will have a Chinese player in the market. So congratulations on that. I think that report fits. But look at it. For the user and I who possibly keep looking at various cars in the market, you all are giving me great tech. There's that beautiful screen, very minimal design, which looks absolutely premium. And you're giving me long warranties at great pricing.
Yes.
What else? What else are we looking?
Yeah, and maybe just to share a little bit, I have been working in China, so I know the Chinese automotive market from 1998 onwards. So I've really seen it emerging over the last 25 years. And if you really understand the capabilities of the Chinese automotive industry, it is just absolutely outstanding. But China has really emerged so strong. And I know there has been this perception of, okay, made in China, it can't be the same quality, like that. But those days are gone.
That's true.
I mean, it's totally gone. If you see today, I mean, look at this vehicle here. Where else would you find a vehicle of this size, this interior quality, the finishing, the design, the technology, all of this for a price point of 135,000 dirham? I mean, it has everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it has the head-up display, it has an autopilot, it has
true.
all kind of assistance systems, which, by the way, are very sophisticated how they work. It has an amazing design, it has screen content, everything for 135,000 dirham. You don't find it anywhere else. You don't find it with the Japanese, you don't find it with the Koreans, you don't find it anywhere else. And you even hardly find it within the Chinese auto industry.
Yeah.
So Geely is, I mean, Woody is very, very humble and kind, but Geely is by far the #1 Chinese automotive conglomerate. But if you know the China industry, there are a lot of state-owned companies in automotive, right, Woody? There are a lot of national state-owned, there are a lot of regional state-owned. There are only 2 or 3 companies, which are really privately owned and which are very, very, very strong. And Geely is among, the top company in China.
That's so cool. I mean, if you think about it, as Mashable Middle East, we can say this because we're a huge tech watchdog,
Yeah.
and tech in cars is
Yeah.
what we look for. If the perception you're talking about is passé.
Yeah.
Today, it is about great tech equal to something from
Yes.
China.
Yes,
So,
100%.
and you can see
100%.
it.
I
It's
mean, you wouldn't
beautiful.
find, like these are integrated speaker boxes in your
Yeah,
headrest,
yeah.
right? This has massage seats. You can even lie, like put it totally flat, You
True.
can adjust the seat from the back. You have head-up display. You have
No,
an
I'm going to go
amazing
for the
sound.
ventilated seats right now.
Yeah, and an amazing sound system, You have the panorama roof. I mean, if you drive 130 kilometers, you put it on autopilot. You can take away the hands away from the
Yeah.
steering wheel, I mean, it's mind-blowing.
I'm going to try it, don't worry.
And the quality of the vehicle is amazing. The ride quality is amazing. This vehicle is phenomenal, and it really demonstrates the capabilities of Geely. And that's why I'm so confident. You ask about, like the UAE, like what's the road forward? I mean, we have
Yeah.
started 2.5 years ago with zero, with nothing.
That's true.
This year we will sell by far over 10,000 units. We are, among the top, the fastest growing brands on a large volume base, and I think nobody will stop us. We will just continue to grow, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to continue to grow with these vehicles, this substance, our service quality. I mean, you have seen the showroom. I mean, where else do you find any of the showroom? It looks like a super luxury showroom.
It does. It's very premium.
It's a premium showroom.
I'll quickly butt in, sir, before Woody sir, you to add to that, because folks, let's be honest. There are difficult questions here, but if any CXO is watching this, then you need to know that this man just gave you a 90-second upward pitch to this car, and I think that's hugely admirable, sir. It's hugely admirable because he just went ahead and said, "You have this, and it's all here for this much."
For the price of 135,000
Yes,
dirhams,
perfect.
so this is unbeatable and unheard of.
Any special discounts for Mashable Middle East customers would be given in the end. Please watch to the end.
This was a good one. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It's mostly personal.
Last month we sold over 200 Manjaros, in 200 Manjaro. I mean, in this segment, there are not many players that sell that much,
Yeah.
And we are constantly on a rise, right? Woody, we started with 70 units per month, last month over 200. I'm pretty sure we will see us crossing 300 units, on this vehicle. So there are many people that now really fall in love with this vehicle, and they are discovering the strength, and the substance and the beauty, the design, everything of this vehicle.
Congratulations, Mr. Woody. That's amazing to hear.
No, you
from
should
his-
not congratulate him.
He's a
we
retail sales manager.
we sold it. Like
All
you
of you.
should- thank you very much.
Congratulations to the whole teams across board.
But seriously, I mean, you are 100% right. In car industry, the success you can never trace it back. I mean, you can claim it, but you can never trace it back to one person, one individual. It's always a collective effort of many people. And especially if you have a very good collaboration with the OEM, I mean, this is most likely one of the most essential factors. You can never be successful if you don't have really a strong backing and a strong collaboration with the OEM. Forget about it. I know exactly which brands don't have it here. I know it, and I see their results, and I know, that they will not be able to grow. You see all those brands that are not growing. One of the reasons is they don't have a very strong tie with their
on-ground support.
Yeah.
100%. But what is it, sir, about the Chinese agility that makes you go to that many sale figures within 2.5 years of being in the market?
I think one of the key things is products. Geely product is really justified and somehow welcoming over the world. Back to China, maybe I can give you one statistics. Last month we delivered almost 260,000 units in China market, and we are ranking top 2 now in China market because, as you know, China is the most customer demanding and the most competitive market in the world. So somehow, we just try to make sure a good transition from China to the global market and to the UAE market.
Correct.
We hope it will happen in partnership with our strong and capable partner AGMC. Yeah.
But what is it? What does the consumer here really look for?
This market is a very open-minded market. I mean, you have a little bit what I feel here in the UAE. It's mirroring almost all those different nationalities.
That's so true, right?
I mean, it's amazing from a marketing branding perspective. You deal with Indians, with Pakistanis, you deal with Emiratis, you deal with Europeans, you deal with Chinese. I mean, all of this comes together.
Yeah.
And you as a brand, you need to embrace this. You cannot be arrogant or anything. You need to embrace it, and you need to embrace all of those nationalities, right?
That's so true.
And that's why we keep, for instance, we have different influencers, we have different different. We celebrate all those different national days. We try to cater to all of those communities. You know?
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the secret, why we are so successful, because we are really inclusive. We are really embracing them. And Geely as a brand is an accessible brand. We don't want to exclude people. We actually want to invite them to come over, to feel our hospitality. We are from a premium background as an organization, AGMC, right?
That's so true.
All our thinking is about customer centricity and service. This is the heart of our belief. And we brought exactly this passion and this spirit into the mainstream market. And that's why we are so unbelievably successful.
Perfect. But this is a great tip for everybody watching it from a B school perspective, or just a Mash Morning super tip, is that you need to be adapting to each and every nationality when talking in the Middle East.
Very, very true.
That's just what's important.
100% true.
But you spoke about a state-of-the-art showroom and the premium experience that it gives you. The Gen Z is here. They're now buying the cars and they want the vibes in your experience. How are you building for vibes?
Well, I don't know if I'm the right person to understand the Gen Z. I would say I'm certainly not.
Yes, of course.
Is there anybody who understands them? I don't know.
I don't know. Please let us know, folks, if you're watching, if you're Gen Z and watching, what are the vibes you're looking for in a showroom?
On a serious note, what I do believe is you always need to engage with people, regardless with age brackets they are. They have different ways on engagement, right? They have different means of communication. But the essence of it is you always need to offer something interesting, regardless which channel of communication you use. Nothing has changed. If you haven't been interesting 30 years ago, you wouldn't have been success, 30 years ago. So it's just the way of, like the communication channels and the content, of course, which changes, And I do believe that our social media that we are creating, the content we are creating, is very meaningful. It's very useful. We actually try to talk a language which is entertaining, and at the same time also, like providing the core information. So we are on all of those. We are on all social media channels. We like to invite people. We like to invite families. We cater for kids. I mean, as simple as this. If you come as a family to the showroom, the first thing, which we offer toys to the kids, because we think it's part of an experience. If you are as a family, everybody should be taken care of. So I think that's, and we have, of course, we have very cool interiors of the car, right? We have a lot, we have screen content, we have a lot to actually modify in the car, which is very
you can do your own thing over there on that one.
So there's so much of, interesting stuff. Driver assistance systems, which
Elka just got activated.
See?
Yeah,
See?
I put it on
Good.
level 2 ADAS to check, and it was perfect.
So and I think those generation, they love these kind of tech gimmicks.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of peace because it's sitting super well right now when I'm driving on Sheikh Zayed, and I'm just at 60 right now. When I move lanes, I'm going to be putting it at 100, but that's perfect.
It is.
All of this also, these are smaller tinkers that I really admire. I've never seen this anywhere else.
It's a lot of details. It's a very thought through vehicle.
How do you say Geely achieved success in the UAE market?
It's actually really what Woody said. It's a combination. The success here is a combination of various inputs. It is AGMC's reputation as a very established premium distributor. It is the passion of serving customers and taking care about them, especially in after sales, especially in like parts availability. You don't have waiting time for our service at all. We are working 2 shifts. We have a night shift. We pick up the vehicles at home. We drop the vehicles at home if that is wanted from the customer. We do all of this. We have all the parts. We have a large regional parts warehouse here. We have our own warehouse here. We really focus on this. And then on top of this, if you pair this with really people that want to go an extra mile, we only recruit people which we tell them, hey, listen, we don't do like 24 hours, standard business, We really go for the extra mile. We want to have people that are passionate about this brand and build it up. And then, the capabilities of the Geely Group with all these phenomenal product substance and products and the design of it, if you put all of this together, you have a very, very powerful combination. It's a very powerful
this is all new.
But Mr. Woody, tell me this. You've done a lot of cross-border operations yourself. how do you then work with the various nationalities that you're looked at hiring, and then how do you make them motivated?
If we have the same goal, the same mission and vision, then we go on the same page. Because between manufacturer and our distributor partners, we always share the same vision to be number one Chinese brand in the region. And
That's true.
also from the Geely global wise, we have the very ambitious target by 2028. We want to reach 5 million sales globally. So
Wow.
we hope the UAE can be a big contributor to the big success.
But what is the mission? Can you all break it down for me? What is the Geely mission and the vision?
To create a more sustainable and a more technology advanced automotive brand in the world. And the mission, as I mentioned earlier, to be number one Chinese brand.
All the
And
best.
then we can represent as a Chinese brand, to represent Chinese technology to compete with this legacy OEM and the legacy traditional brands. Yes.
All the best. I think it's a good one, although tall, but it's a one worth chasing.
But then maybe also to add to this is the AGMC spirit, is we have actually set ourselves very ambitious targets. It's not that we are getting pushed into anything. We are having set ourselves really ambitious target, right? And from the beginning. And when we did the business case initially, we outperformed against our original business case almost by 2.5. So we're selling 2.5 more volume than what we had put in the
Lovely.
original business case. I don't know many organizations which actually would do that, because usually how it works in the industry. You put a business case. If you achieve the business case, everybody is happy, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If you sell 2.5 times more, you just make your life terribly complicated, right?
Now the targets are way more.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we keep doing all the time, because we will
Make
not,
your life tougher.
We don't want to stop there, and I'm very serious. We have
Yeah.
recruited people. We have them in the team who really wants to write history here in the region, and everybody in the organization will tell you, like I'm behind this. We want to become the number one automotive brand in the UAE, and I tell you, I'm going to see this happening, before I retire. And I don't tell you when I'm going to retire.
So how do you save the teams from thinking that they're going to get overwhelmed and keep driving this promise?
Yeah, well, I think that's actually an interesting aspect, because it doesn't make sense if you just say something, right?
That's true.
And nobody can connect to it. If nobody connects to it, they wouldn't believe you, and you would have no impact. You really need, first of all, you need to have a realistic vision. It needs to be ambitious, but it needs to be realistic. And then you need to drill it down into smaller pieces.
Yeah.
And you need to tell people, you need to show them that you are on a path to success. So you slice it in smaller pieces, and then every month, for instance, what we do is we have review meetings, we have town hall meetings. I implemented a nice format which is coffee with the CEO, where
yeah?
I just invite 15 people on a monthly basis, and I just have a conversation with the pick binner, the service guys, the PDI guys. We just mix the entire organization. All
For real?
Yeah, and all from the different locations, and they have like 1.5 hours with me, to talk about whatever they want to talk about, and I share then, what we have achieved, what is on our agenda, what would you want to achieve, so they have a direct interaction with me. And
I love that. I'm going to take this idea back
and
home.
that is a very, very powerful tool. You get, I do this now, I started doing this, and you get so much of feedback, from people where usually I don't have the chance to, see my, my PDI operations every day,
Yeah.
But then this guy has never really the chance, or they to express what they need to improve, how what they need to improve their business. So it's a great thing,
That's so
have
cool.
contact with people, that's the most important. People anyhow is the most important for success. It's
Yeah.
nothing else. It's people, and if you don't treat them well, if you don't give them a vision, if you don't support them in what they are doing, if you don't appreciate them, no wonder you will never be successful.
That's
You will
perfect.
just be mediocre.
That's true. I completely relate. People first, folks. Always. Mr. Woody, what do you like to say? Don't you have folks coming to you saying they're overwhelmed? How do you resolve for that?
In China, back to China headquarters, even our founder, Geely founder Eric Lee, he is working on a daily basis in the same building as regular Geely employees.
Oh,
He
wow.
work from 9 to 9. So that is really Chinese culture because we have a very competitive working environment. We want to, justify our success, and we want to achieve more. So I think why the Chinese automotive industry now is catching up.
Yeah.
One of the back reason is we want to really have this ambition to work hard to chase with the legacy brands.
I completely understand. That's how you grow tremendously in the 27, 20, 30, 3 decades that you'll have existed. It completely makes sense. But tell me this, we're driving the Monjaro. It has a beautiful front grille that I really like. The vertical design language is unique. Uh, these interiors, how do you come with that price band with giving me this? Because this is great leather, and I've got that across. It's not just like on one of these and two of these. I just turned on the ventilated seats. It's beautiful. I'm quite happy, because this region gets really really hot, and your AC has to be on point. So how are you working with all of these?
Not only for Monjaro, our flagship model,
Yeah.
even for our entry model, the sedan M Grand, we have the most powerful AC performance in M Grand, and also we have a very high standard interior materials. So, when we survey with our end users, the first feedback from them is when they open the door, walk into the cabin, they never smell new car smell.
Oh yeah,
So,
how's that?
so that is one of the reason even for the top flagship model Monjaro is even higher standard, because
I just realized that this is a fresh
yes,
It's a brand new vehicle.
very
yeah.
fresh.
and we couldn't smell it.
Yes,
So-
exactly.
How?
Because we use the top class material, and also back to China markets, the Monjaro is the top selling model, top selling SUV across all powertrain, including gasoline, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and battery EV. So we are the top selling model. We have the power and capacity, manufacturing capacity to drop the cost, to appeal to the global audience. I think that's one of the strong point and advantage for Geely Group.
And that's exactly the case with Geely vehicles. There's a lot of, especially in this segment of this technical platform, there is a lot of similarities to Volvo vehicles, because Geely is the mother company of Volvo
Yeah.
cars.
You touched a good point, Andreas.
Yeah.
Because this model is developed by CMA platform we called compact modular architecture. This CMA platform is actually jointly developed between Geely and Volvo,
look
and
at that.
also this chassis and driving performance has been tested and customized by Geely Group Europe team, which including Volvo and Lotus R&D Center. So which means it's really elevating
It's the
the
amalgamation
synergy
of the whole
between
group.
Geely and the Geely umbrella brands.
That's so nice.
That's why.
I think that's what, folks, is the modern day automobile industry. It is about taking learnings from your sister brands and then putting them together into making each brand rise up. I want to understand from you, we are on Mashable Mornings. What are your morning routines? Are you an early waker?
No, I'm not.
Are you not the 5 a.m. club?
No,
No,
not at
when do you
all.
wake up? What do you do?
No, I don't dare to say that when I wake up. I tend to be too late everywhere.
Really?
In this regard, I'm not German at all.
No.
I'm never on time. I'm always too late, and I blame it. I studied in France, so I blame the French, for
Yeah, perfect.
having the bad influence on me.
Yeah, you
so
enjoy your coffee and a croissant in the morning.
this is exactly how I like to start my day. But I do a little bit of morning exercise, which is more stretching and
Nice.
like getting into the day. But then I really prefer to start late, and I prefer to work long in the evening. That's my preferred schedule.
Interesting. What about you, Woody?
Similar.
Yeah? You're not a morning waker either?
Yeah.
Hey, that's so
So there's so
interesting.
many people that get up at 5, and
Yeah,
then they
how?
start running around, and I don't know what they do before like 3 hours before they go to the office, or I couldn't do that. And especially now with the weather,
Yes.
coming, the season which is now ahead of us. There's nothing better than just sitting outside, having your
getting the
espresso
cool
in the
winds.
morning, and
Perfect.
enjoy the, like the bird sounds. I'm fortunate to live in a very green area of Dubai, and I just love it, sitting in the morning outside having my coffee, and it's just perfect. I love it.
Look at that. It's one way to go about things. But tell me this: what are your passion points? Who are you as people? What should I know about you personally?
Oh my goodness. So this is now getting out of the automotive industry, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
no, I luckily, I have kids and I enjoy them very much. They're growing up and it's so much fun to see them actually growing up and all their stories, which reminds me, a little bit of what we have gone through when we were younger. So it's fantastic. So we try to really spend a lot of time in family. And besides, I love traveling. I've been traveling my entire time. I've lived like the majority of my life. I have lived outside Germany, which is my home country, and I've visited every country in Asia. Every country. I've been there. I know those places. I've seen different cultures from Eastern, Central Europe, Africa, Asia, and I love traveling.
Look at
I
that.
love hotels. I love food. I
Yeah.
love traveling. All good things in life.
Yeah, good luxuries. What about you, Woody? What are your passion points?
Actually, if I have time after work, I will always, find a time to play a football game with my mates.
Hey.
You
I
always
just
PS5?
wanted to say
Are you-
you are playing football.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I know. I've never played football. I
Really?
tried once and it was a disaster, and then I had to realize I need to give up on that. You didn't ask about plug-in hybrids. Was that
I mean,
intentionally, or you just forgot it?
it's a nice slide in that you did there.
Okay.
Very clever.
Okay, good.
I think I'm a purist. Either go one side or the other fully.
Yeah, but that's the wrong way on how to look at it.
That's true.
That's the wrong way how to look at it. Seriously, I'm a big EV fan.
Okay.
I'm very much influenced from China in this regard because the EV industry has emerged in China 10 years ago.
That's so true.
And from a European perspective, the Europeans have been significantly slower in adopting the technology, and the China has just put everything on this technology, and it's just phenomenal. The battery capacity, the quality of the battery, everything, like the entire ecosystem is there. Okay,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen it emerging during my time when I was in China. So I'm not surprised that China now, 50% of all the registrations are electrified vehicles today.
That's true.
68%
Yeah,
last month.
68, so 68 even now.
Yes.
On the largest automotive market in the world,
Yeah.
which is significantly larger than Europe automotive market or the United States automotive market. So, like more than half of this is now electrified. So that has a huge influence. Now we know that in many parts of the world, the infrastructure development doesn't cope really with, with what needs to be done to electrify your fleet on a larger scale, right?
Yeah.
So now, if you see that, it's still electrified vehicles from a pure CO2 emission point of view are still superior to ICE vehicles.
Yeah.
So if you really think about, like how do we enable individual mobility in future, being conscious about environment, then there's no way around electrification, no way around this. But what is interesting to see is now recently in China, all these hybrid technologies, the plug-in hybrid, they really emerge as a dominant technology, right?
Yes.
Woody?
Yes, you're right.
And there's it's very logic. Why is that the case? On an plug-in hybrid today, in Geely's plug-in hybrid, you drive over, you have a range of over 1,000 kilometers, and the vehicle price is the same as an ICE vehicle price.
That's so true.
So you have an ICE vehicle. You can drive it as an ICE vehicle, but it gets supported, through an electric engine. So whenever you now accelerate here, for instance, it shifts in the support mode of
I
an
get the
electric
punch.
engine.
Yeah.
And as a result out of it, you drive your car with between 3.5 and 4.5 liters on 100 kilometers.
That's so true.
Which gives you usually almost 1,000, and in some vehicle categories over 1,000, even up to 1,500 kilometers range.
In
If you're
Geely's
really
flagship,
well
we have
calculated,
2,000
Yes.
driving range.
You can imagine. So you could just charge it overnight at your place. And you could drive, if you would, you could drive every day in electric motors. So if you drive like 70, 80 kilometers as I do per day in Dubai, you can just drive pure electric. You never need to charge, you never need to fuel your vehicle anymore. If you drive from here, to Fujairah or to Abu Dhabi, or you just drive it on a normal motors, and you will run at 4.5 liters per 100 kilometers. I mean, it's unheard of. And that's actually the technology which I see in future, where I think we will see a huge shift into this technology, because it's actually really the better technology.
I agree. Everybody who's thinking about EVs, let me ask you this one question that everybody gets scared of. Are you not worried about range anxiety?
No, because so if you drive a pure electric vehicle,
Yeah.
okay,
Let's say I pick up the EX5.
so a pure electric vehicle range today, is between 400, 500, sometimes 600. It really depends on the battery capacity and the price point of
True.
the vehicle.
Correct.
Very easy. The more expensive a vehicle is, the larger the battery is, the longer the range is. It's very easy. So, but even in a compact segment, I think now we are definitely over 400 kilometers in range.
Yeah.
So if you drive 60, 70 kilometers per day, it's good to drive, for a couple of days. So I don't see that as a major thing. Still, people, that drive long distances, go from Dubai to Abu Dhabi every day. Would I go with an electric vehicle? Most likely not.
Correct.
Would I go with an ICE? Most likely not, because you pay every second or third day you need to fuel your vehicle, and you pay 180 to 200
For a full
dirhams,
tank.
for a full tank.
Yeah.
So why don't you go with an plug-in
Hybrid.
hybrid in this case? Go with a plug-in hybrid in this case. You pay the same. You have half of the consumption.
That's true.
It's really the
more
technology for
intelligent.
people,
Yeah.
that really have to commute a lot, that don't need to be afraid of range. It's the technology to go for.
Yeah. In the region, do y'all think there are price conscious folks as well, or is it more value for whatever I pay for?
It's definitely price conscious.
Yeah.
People definitely price conscious, and I mean and that's why Geely has such a strong position, because they offer so much of product substance for the price point. I mean, seriously, I'm not aware of any other car company which offers so much of value for a price point.
That's
Yeah,
true.
So
Y'all are not taking a hit to get me used to the product and the brand, right? I always wonder how you're pricing so less.
Well, that's the power of the Chinese automotive industry, is what he said. 11 million in the United States, 14 in Europe, 40 million, 28 in China.
You all do the math.
So now, why do you wonder that the price points are significantly lower?
It's scale.
It's scale.
Scale
That's the
business.
only way to
scale.
do this.
Yeah.
What about Dubai makes you feel like this is truly a belly button of culture of the world? And how do you adapt basis the region?
For me, seriously, I just love this place. I mean, if there's any place in the world which I truly fall in love with and I truly respect, then this is the UAE. I think from where they come from, I think their vision that they have,
Yeah.
their passion to drive things forward, the friendliness of people, and the number, the sheer number of different cultures and nations living peacefully together. This is, for me, it's a role model. If you are not successful in Dubai as a brand, you will not be successful anywhere else.
Or is it a
around
litmus test then?
It is a litmus test, 100%, because it is really. I mean, how many people are traveling to Dubai from the region? From Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi, from all of those, from the Levant, all of those people. I mean, they are constantly traveling to Dubai, because it's the place to be.
It's like a hub.
And it's a hub,
Yeah.
And if you'll see, if you see the lifestyle, if you see technology, if you see hospitality, the
Tourism,
vibe of the
everything.
city, tourism, this is the place where you actually need to demonstrate that you are a serious brand, that you can survive in this competitive market environment. If you do so, it has a huge impact on the wider region.
What is your zone with marketing of the product? Like, what are your briefs to the agencies like?
Oh, marketing is really my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I believe that everything you do, needs to start from a branding perspective. You can never have success. I mean, you can have great products, everything. You never have success if you don't really establish a profound foundation for your brand. And in order to actually create a strong brand, every of your activity needs to be aligned and synchronized. If you don't think about how somebody behaves, if you don't think about, like the flower bouquet at the entrance of your showroom, how people are dressed, how they speak, how do you communicate? All of this has an impression on people. This is how they perceive you. And if you don't think about all of those touch points, then you cannot create a cohesive brand awareness. It's
All of that is
impossible.
marketing, sir. Yes.
All of this is marketing. Everything is marketing. And if you don't actually pay attention to this, if you neglect this, you will never be able to build up a strong brand. And if you don't build up a strong brand, you will never be the number one. Impossible. Yeah.
Because as soon as I entered, those two smiling faces, really concerned folks to get me a quick glass of water, some coffee, some snacks, and I'm just here to buy a car. I didn't need any of that.
It goes much more. It is and everything. You just get in there and you think like, oh, that's nice. Okay, you would not even necessarily be able to articulate why you feel positive, on it.
True.
But I tell you why, because the color tonality of the showroom, the warm color, for instance, the lightning, of
Yeah.
it. There's a very subtle music which you might not have realized, but it is, and
There
it
is there.
influences
Yeah,
your
I
senses.
didn't even realize.
There's a smell in the showroom which we actually put it. There are people, of course, which are trained, which are supposed to greet you.
Yeah.
There's our own coffee chain and our own chain.
Oh, that's your own
of,
coffee chain?
Yeah, that's the one of the Albata group. It's where all of this together creates
Yeah.
an atmosphere where we are very keen on that people walk into it and they feel welcomed and they feel good. Even if you can't tell me why you feel good, but you just said I felt good.
Yeah.
And all of those elements you need to put it together, and
It's
all
all
branding.
marketing, folks.
It's all marketing and branding.
Oh my God, it's so intelligent. So sublime though.
It's super sublime, Nothing in marketing you can leave it just, on a coincidence. Everything you need to orchestra and you need to take care about the smallest little details.
Great insight, sir. Thank you for sharing. What about you, Woody? Are you a big marketing lover yourself? Are you more on the ground shop
I think
floor
I'm
sales?
more down to ground and
Yeah.
leave the marketing and tactics with because Andreas is a doctor in the marketing.
Yes.
So we have the full trust in the marketing and branding activities.
Perfect.
We give the full autonomy to our partners to down to ground and to play the role.
So, talking about marketing comes very close is advertising. How are you all picking one of the massive billboards that adorn Sheikh Zayed? Also, are you more focused on digital? What is the split like?
Very clearly, when I started, so for a few years, in my career, I was working in a car sharing company. Back then, those days, you didn't do digital marketing. I grew up in marketing when we did TVCs and like print campaigns and all of the stuff which younger generation even don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But
Physical newspaper guys.
exactly, physical newspapers, TVCs. What is TV? And I had to learn really the power of digital marketing when I was, working for these mobility services. So here, and I came from a background where we just said, okay, let's do everything now in digital. It's so important. But here, actually, the learning is in the UAE, you really need to have a combination of digital, social, and classical out of home.
Yes.
It is so important. What
It's
you
so weird.
mentioned-
They've skipped two very big parts and gone straight from outdoor to digital.
So you need outdoor, for general awareness.
Yeah.
And you need, of course, lots of content interaction on digital chains.
That's so true.
And you need to find the right balance in that. And the interesting piece is, whenever we do a massive out of home campaigns, whenever we actually occupy billboards, whenever we do this, we see immediately spike of walk-ins.
Really?
Immediately. It relates one by one, So you actually do out of home and immediately you see like people walking into your showroom.
What do you think, Woody? Do you like digital yourself? Are you a huge online person?
Yeah, 100%. I think how to strike a balance, as Andreas mentioned,
Yeah.
is a good combination, especially for Geely. Is we are relatively a young and new brand for UAE market, so that's hugely important, to be honest.
Crazy. We spoke about family a little, but I want to talk more about that. How do you truly draw the balance between building a car that's for folks like me who like performance, but also have to go back to families and then do weekends with family trips? So how do you balance that out?
I think the answer to this is most likely. First of all, if you really see in each of the segment, which is important. So, what's the reference point in each segment? If you really see the reference point in each segment, then you would immediately see that the driving characteristics and capabilities of a Geely are definitely superior to other vehicles in the same segment.
Yeah.
While for instance other vehicles would be equipped with a 1.5 liter, the Geely vehicle would have a 2-liter engine.
This one has a 2 liter, I can feel.
Yeah, exactly. And even the smaller ones, right? Have 2-liter engines. So the driving is really, it's generally more dynamic, I would say, And then of course it's largely, depends on your choice of the vehicle concept as such. I mean, we have a vehicle like Preface, which is really made to be driven, right? I mean, it's a driver vehicle.
Yeah.
So and then you have a vehicle like an SUV of this nature here, which like you can actually put a sport mode in, and you would drive very, very sporty, but you could also drive very relaxed, with your family. I mean,
Perfect.
I tell you what, I shouldn't say that, but whenever I have my kids, especially my daughter sitting, and she's grown up, and she would tell you, I really prefer to sit in this vehicle here.
Really?
I'm driving a Monjaro. I prefer to sit here because it's so much more comfortable.
And now I'm wondering if
love
I
the
should
car.
take this one for the year review or the Preface.
It's a very beautiful vehicle.
Okay, so tell me this. There's this huge chatter I've heard about new Geely and the new energy. What do you all mean when you say all of that?
I can give you also another statistic,
Okay.
one numbers. I think in August or September, we delivered 270,000 units in China, and 160,000 is new energy. So
Oh.
you can imagine almost 60% contribution by new energy. By Geely definition, new energy means plug-in hybrid and BEV and range extended. All these things put together, we call new energy. So I think you can expect very strong product lineup will be introduced very soon in the UAE market. Actually, we are in a very close discussion with AGMC. For next year, we will bring almost 5 to 6 new product lineup, new products for the NEV.
Brand new
and
ones,
brand
brand new
new.
ones.
Yes, and some of them, is we are very excited to talk about. We will bring the first full-size SUV under Geely brand, which is
Ooh.
plug-in hybrid.
So I've heard something interesting during my research, is that you take feedback so seriously that you've actually called home base in China and asked them to make the new batch according to the feedback you received. So like the new product that came in was then with the changes. Is that true, Woody?
For example, you
Tell us this story because this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
really fascinating for me.
Actually, even not only about the product, we heard about the customer feedback. They care about the new model year. They cared about the new feature on each model year change.
Okay.
Then from Geely side, we decide to launch every new model year in the first place in the market. We launch the new model year during Ramadan. So that is also I believe
perfect.
it's the number one in the market to launch the new features and adapt to the new feedback, as you mentioned, to do some fine tune and upgradation in the new model year. That's something we every year on a yearly basis we practice. Yes.
That's superb to hear, man. I mean, while we're doing this conversation, it's imperative to know that also is very difficult, because how do you call the product teams back at home and say, okay, can you all make this 1, 2, 3 set of tweaks, because this market appreciates it like that.
But that's the good thing with what Woody was referring to, China speed and China attitude. I mean, I'm not aware of any other automotive market which is as competitive as the Chinese, and as a result out of this, people need to be extremely fast.
Yeah.
I mean, while other markets still study, and do their feasibility studies and their risk evaluation and blah, blah, they've already done it.
Yeah, that's what.
No, I'm serious, it's
I know,
already
I
done,
agree. I agree.
And as a result out of it, you are just faster.
Yeah.
As simple as this, you're faster in reaction. And everything that serves the business and the purpose is being done, It's not that you need to write long thesis about, like why is it needed and da. It's being done.
To talk about that suspension that I've been feeling since a while, because the car really holds its ground. What is it about CCD that you can explain to me, Mr. Woody?
Actually, CCD is really a highly advanced suspension system. It's we call continuous control damping system.
Okay.
So when you're facing the different road conditions, it's really go adaptive to the road conditions and make you feel very smooth and very stable in the cabin.
Yeah.
And especially when you're facing with the damping and you know the damp, you will feel you just like we always say you're sitting in the high-speed train in China. It's
Yeah.
normally
It
give
doesn't
you
budge.
you're very stable and a very good experience inside
Yeah.
the cabin. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on Mashable Mornings, folks. This is me, Siddharth Alambayan, signing off on another cool episode of Mashable Mornings. Happy to be back in the Middle East with another new season of Mashable
Yeah.
Mornings. Mr. Woody, any final closing statements from your side? How did
Thank
you
you.
like it?
Appreciate.
Yeah? Good fun, right?
Yeah, I enjoy. It's a good break for Friday afternoon.
Awesome. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye.